Time to hunt. We're here at Diablo Ridge. Looking around. Just freshening up, getting ready for a day of precise, efficient hunting. Need our first kill of the day. We're very much low on funds. We've got $43.39 to our name. Once again, we're here in Big Valley. I thought that Diablo Ridge would be a good place to find a wide variety of animals. I know that there's plenty of deer and elk down this way, but you can also get raccoons, eagles, fish if you have the fishing rod, squirrels and everything really that you can think of. Bears make the occasional appearance, and I believe we can see some sheep from time to time. Although at this moment there doesn't seem to be a great deal around. In fact, I'm not seeing any game of any kind. Which is unusual. I think we need to move further down. So yeah, $43 to our name, and we're running low on supplies to boot. Now, if I can get that $43 up to about 150, then we'll be laughing. Careful with old Memesy there. I forgot to mention this this horse that we're using. His name is Old Memes. Old Memesy. He's a Shire horse, which I believe are the largest horses in the game. And yes, I did see that rabbit. I've decided to let him go. I don't really go in for the rabbits very much. They're worth very little. They tend to be a bit of a pain in the butt to actually get. They, you know, unless you're making some gloves. I've got deer here. Unless you're making some gloves, they're not really worth your time. That's a 3-star. Right, this will be the first shot of the day. If I can make it happen. Can't say fairer than that. One shot, one kill, straight to the cranium. The animal did not suffer. That's a good omen. I feel good about today's hunting. I feel like today's hunting will be everything it needs to be. Just grab this before it floats downstream. He's a big boy, but he's not the biggest. Right, let's get that fur coat off your bones. And while our huntsman is doing the hard work, I'm just going to take my first little sip of coffee. Fantastic. That's a good start, that's a good omen. And here's hoping that there's much more further upstream just like it. We want lots of nice, clean 3-star kills. None of these mucky 1-star, bullet-ridden pelts. We want our stuff to be fetching top dollar. Yeah, Old Memesy is a Shire horse. He's, I believe, the largest breed of horse in the game. I do have a second horse. His name is R.I.P. Daft Punk, which is topical. I'm a fan of Daft Punk and have been for 11 years. They've made some wonderful music. And, you know, I just felt like naming a horse to commemorate their career, legacy, body of work seemed like the right thing to do. And also it gives other players, when they encounter my horses, you know, gives them a little bit of a sense, just a slight sense of what I'm sort of about. I always appreciate that when I'm dealing with other players. Anything, whether it's the way they've set up their camp, or the way that they've dressed themselves, or the name of their horse, anything to sort of communicate just a sense of who they are as a person. Got some bulrushes here. Don't mind if I do. Anything to communicate what sort of player you are, maybe what's important to you. Oh wow. That is a first. I've never had that happen before. Guess it didn't go down too well. Part of me kind of wants to tempt fate and have another one, but realistically that wouldn't be something that I would do. Maybe just get yourself a little mouthful of stream water. Just, you know, maybe rinse yourself off a bit. You're covered in blood and now you're covered in sick. So maybe a little dip in the clean, clean waters of Diablo Ridge. Seems like that's just what the doctor ordered. Right, well, let's leave that unpleasantness behind us and get down to the work of hunting. Let's call old Memesy over. Thought about calling him Meme School. But that's kind of a deep cut. You have to both be really interested in David Bowie and also memes. Whereas if you just call a horse old memes, people know what memes are, people know what the old memes are, people know that the old memes differ from the new memes, and people know that I'm from the old school and I like the old memes. Meme school, it's got the potential to confuse too many people. So, old memes won out in the end. I'm not seeing much in the way of... Hang on. That's a turkey vulture. He's a 2-star. I wonder if I can get him to come over this way. He's coming. See, now that looked like a miss to me. He's fallen in the river. I'm not going back for him. Nah, I'll let the waters take him. That looked like a miss to me, but the game was very gracious about giving me that. So, I guess canonically we can say that I clipped a wing. And we'll just pretend that that wasn't aim assist. You know, I really do feel like my positioning leaves a bit of something to be desired. We need to get into a nice, versatile sniping position. Somewhere with good clearance of the land around us. Somewhere with good visibility. Preferably somewhere where, you know, I can just sort of climb down to collect and then run straight back up to do the work of skinning or whatever. So you know, I like a sort of a spot that isn't too difficult to access, so that I can constantly just be nipping backwards and forwards, cleaning up, and then taking my shots, cleaning up, rinse, repeat until we've got 15 or 20 skins and all the assorted components. Pelts, as the game calls them. Not skins, pelts. See, now this is okay, but that's a 1 star, but he is right in view. How I missed that, I don't know. Straight through the antlers. Now the problem with taking shots like that, especially if it's a 2-shot rather than a 1-shot, is that now every animal within a half-a-mile radius heard that and is frantically sprinting in the opposite direction. So it scares off everything that's around. And that's not something that I like to do when it's just a poor 1 star. It's a fox. Brave boy. He's a 2 star. I'll take him. Where's my deer? Doesn't seem to be marked on the map. It might possibly have been washed downstream. I wouldn't think that the current of the water would do that necessarily. Let's have a look at the map. See, we've got the fox registering, and I'll go and pick him up. It seems like that elk or that deer or whatever it was might have got away. We've got that damp little grey fox here, we'll just get him onto the shore. It's a shame he's not a 3 star actually. If he was a 3 star, I wouldn't even skin him. I would retain the whole carcass, and then upon encountering another player, I would give it to them as a gift. It's always a good way of like starting off interactions. Really, there are two main ways. 3 if you count just talking over a microphone, but if you're not being particularly vocal, there are really 2 ways to begin interactions with a player. And one of them is to hand them an item or an animal or something that might potentially have value, you know, just sort of a gesture of goodwill. And the other way of interacting with them is slamming a .22 caliber rifle round or whatever straight between the eyes from 600 meters away. That's the other way of saying hello. And I do vary between the 2. Not exactly sure which I prefer. Well, here we are in Valentine, again. As we have been so many times before. Haven't really got much to sell. But seeing as the butcher's right here, I suppose it's, you know, worth offloading.
Been a while. You ain't been seeing another butcher, have you?
This guy is in desperate need of a wet wipe.
Seems everyone with a rifle been hunting these of late. A lot of folk coming by with these lately.
Indeed. That's what you always say. That's how you get to pay me less. Oh yeah, these legendary cougar pelts. A dime a dozen. Everybody's coming up to me with bear meat and cougar pelts these days. You would not believe the amount of albino panther fur that comes through my stall. You know, I mean, at one point in time everybody was just hunting deer, but believe me, cowboy, Yeti meat is absolutely booming. Can't even sell all the Yeti meat. Can't even sell these, this extinct dodo that you've brought me. I can only give you 75 cents for it. Let's grab ourselves a beer. Now, I don't actually drink in real life, but there is something kind of cozy about my my savage huntsman just having a cheeky Miller Lite by himself, or sarsaparilla, as the case may be. He likes to come here, you know, likes to have a brew and listen to some tunes. It's tempting to have a hand of poker, but I don't really have a great deal of money to be playing with. But before we go, roasted almonds. On the house. Can't say fairer than that. That guy needs to watch where he's walking. He's lucky I didn't truss him up like a hog and put him on the back of old memes.
Good to see you.
Likewise. So, we're in the market for a few rounds, and I think that'll really just be it today. If anybody is watching this, and I assume that somebody will at some point, although, you know, the day when that happens is probably far off.
You need anything else, let me know.
I play at what can only be described as a glacial pace. I will drag out every session with this game. This game is remarkably slow-paced, pretty much 90% of the time. I would say maybe 10% of the time it gets quite sort of action-packed and moves quickly. But the overwhelming bulk, meat of the game, it's slow. It's a slow, thoughtful ambience. You know, it really wants you to sort of savor everything. The weather effects, the lighting, the detail, the fauna, the flora. And I do that, and I take it as slow as the game wants, and then even slower. Because that's just how I like to play. You might find that were you watching somebody else, they would have killed 15 deer by now, and 4 players to boot. Blown up half of Valentine. Shot up the train station. That's not how I like to do things. Well, it is. Sometimes. But typically, the way I prefer to handle things is to just treat it like a sleepy Western dream. Like we're on the verge of sleep. And this is all just some sort of somnolent. Is that the word? Somnolent Western dream. That's a 2-star. That's a 2-star. That's a 1-star. Yeah, it's really kind of pushing the limit of what I can do here. Is that a horse or a deer? They're moving. That's my 1-star, I don't want him. Miss. There's one over here. Is it the 1-star? It's a 2-star. God damn it, I can barely see him. Miss. Embarrassing. Hit, but he's not down. Miss. Bit of a difficult watch, I suppose, isn't it? As I'm looking down the sights at these vague, barely perceptible blurs 700 meters away. So I do sympathise. It's not the perfect, especially when it's only in 720p. It's not an ideal viewing experience, I suppose. That's a 3-star. How did I miss that? How did I miss that? This is unbelievable. Now I'm just blasting wildly and hoping for the best. Anything. I think they might have despawned. Wow. That was bad. 3-star coyote though. That's a hit. And his friend. I wonder if there's bullet drop. Maybe that's why. A couple of these shots seem like they should have been on target. I'm not complaining, I'm just wondering if there is actually a bullet drop mechanic. I mean, it would make sense with the attention to detail and all. Don't know if you heard that. Like a hissing noise. I'm not sure what kind of animal would make that noise. Would that be a snake? Anyway, let's clean up these coyotes. That's a 3-star, and as I mentioned earlier, 3-star foxes and 3-star coyotes, I suppose. Coyotes being quite similar to foxes. I will take their carcasses as gifts for the players. So consider this me holding myself to my word. And then we also got a little bonus feature over here. Probably only a 2-star. Ah, 3-star. Well, we can only take one 3-star, so unfortunately, we're going to have to debone this one. Look at that lighting. Look how moody that lighting is. It's a perfect pelt, and here's to many more. I think that deserves a little sip of coffee, if I do say so myself. Ooh, it's lukewarm. And very strong. Look at the moonlight. Beautiful. Right. Well. Now I really do feel like we need some deer. Some deer meat, some deer pelts. Especially after that last showing where I probably let a dozen of the things, you know, get away from me. I feel like I need to redeem myself. What's this? It's a whitetail buck. 2. And then his friend over here. Pronghorn buck. 2. Let's start with his friend, I suppose. And then we want the one on the left because it's higher value. Miss. The one leading. Miss. He's over the bluff. Hang on. He's gone. Fair play to him. I'm telling you, animals. They're more difficult than players. See, a player in that position, 9 times out of 10, not always, but usually, would be absolutely fuming and adamant about getting revenge immediately. What's that? Somebody shooting at me? Well, I am so-and-so, the fastest gun in the West. I can't possibly allow that. So rather than maneuvering to cover or trying to expand the distance between us to make my life harder and to give them the opportunity to reposition and mount a counter-attack. Usually a player in that position will do one of 2 things. They'll either call their horse and mount it, which is in itself like a whole 3-4 second animation where they're pretty much close to static, because obviously they're climbing on the horse and the horse isn't moving, and they're only going to go one place, which is on top of the horse. so it gives me plenty of time to line up a really good shot. But in their own minds, they're thinking, oh, let's get on the horse and I'll go over there and shove this shotgun in his face and see how he likes it. And, you know, that's often what happens, and alternatively, they might just run towards me. They'll pull out their gun, which takes half a second. If they're silly enough to actually try and go into the radial menu and choose a specific weapon, then they're as good as dead, because that can take 2-3 seconds. If they're fumbling around in their pockets thinking, oh, I need my high roller revolver, where is it? They're as good as dead. Because by the time they've even had that thought, I've shot them. All too often they'll just run towards the source of the gunfire, thinking, let's close the distance. I'll pump a couple of rounds into him while I'm running towards him Rambo style. And that just makes my life easier, because the target is coming towards me, usually in a straight line, and getting bigger. So, as a general rule of thumb, I mean, if you're under sniper fire, you know, you wanna move like a deer. You wanna go this way and that way, and jump and duck, and weave between the rocks, and try and get something between you and the sniper, whether it's a rock or a bluff or... Anyway, we're getting off track here. We are supposed to be hunting. Got another fox right here. It's a grey fox. Red fox, my mistake. See, he's back in the bushes, and I don't know now. I can't see him. There he is. Two star, but oh, 1 star. Wow. Would have thought a headshot with a rifle would have preserved some of his value, but it seems not. It's unfortunate. But he won't go to waste. And we've got some very nice looking deer down this way. 2 stars. 3 stars. Yep, brilliant. Got him. See if we can get his friend for good measure. Miss. Miss. I can't even tell if that's a deer or a horse. That's a horse. I don't want to be shooting horses. There's no profit in shooting horses. Also goes against the game's code of ethics. Which is, you know, it's unusual because I can kill as many deer as I really see fit. Alligators and foxes and extinct eagles. Tasmanian tigers and, you know, dinosaurs. If there were dinosaurs, the game would be quite happy to let me blast them. But killing horses and domesticated dogs is a real big no-no. I mean, it's understandable because we have relationships with those animals. We don't really have relationships with deer in the same way that we do with working animals like dogs or horses. So, you know, it makes a certain sense. But the amount of culling and killing that I do, just surprises me that, like, you know, if I were to and blast this dog, and of course I won't do it. That's considered animal cruelty, and I get a charge for it, and the law comes after me. But if I blast a beautiful, pristine deer as he gallops in the sun, that's okay. And I can hear gunshots, and there's 2 players on the map. Now, is he going to be hostile? He's running away. He's in defensive mode. Not interested in hurting him. But he seems very much on edge. If possible, it would be nice if I could give him this coyote as sort of a gesture of goodwill. We've got a dead farmhand here. He's taking shots. Looks like he's shooting up Emerald Ranch. Not sure if he was firing at me. He didn't hit me if he was firing at me. He's killed a horse. Player horse by the looks of it. You know what? I'm gonna keep my coyote. Give it to somebody with a bit of a gentler spirit. Shooting up Saint Denis, that's one thing. Arguably Saint Denis deserves a good shooting. Shooting up Emerald Ranch? What you got against Emerald Ranch? There's nothing there but farmhands. Just guys trying to raise sheep. And that makes him angry, apparently. Apparently everybody is deserving of death on Emerald Ranch. Not sure why. But in any case, his actions have lost him a perfectly good 3-star North Carolina fox. He doesn't know it, but I know it, and you know it. It's nice to be nice. And it's not nice to murder the entire farmstead for no particular reason. He says as he shoots a deer. Not that I'm above doing it, of course. Sometimes it's just a hoot and holler. I am a complete and utter moral hypocrite. When it comes to this game. I will fully admit that. Anyway, I thought we were going to be doing some hunting. I don't seem to be getting much in the way of animals. It's time to start using Eagle Eye. Time to start really scoping things out. Here we go. Whitetail buck, 2-star. Whitetail deer, 2-star. Let's have the buck. I hit the deer, but he's not down. I might actually just go out of my way to track him, if it's at all possible. It is possible. Let's follow the trail. Did he go over the bridge? He went over the bridge. That's unusual. Smart. Not what I would expect necessarily from a deer, but it was the right move to make. Yeah, that deer's really booked it. I'm not sure where he's gone, to be honest. I'll go and collect on the buck. I'm not the kind of hunter who'll just like doggedly, determinedly using every means at my disposal. You know, I'm not gonna ferociously chase down every last animal, blasting with Kakanos and dynamite. Like, you know, if they get away, they get away. I don't have like some vicious grudge against the animals for running. Some players do, some players be like that. You know? If the deer doesn't die on the first shot, they'll go in with fire bombs and God knows what else. You know, they take it as an insult that they missed or whatever. I like to think that I'm the opposite. Now, there's a lot around here that we don't normally see. Black bear cubs, obviously alligators. Although we're not going to be bothering with alligators today. Turtles, which I believe can actually be fairly lucrative. Reptiles, boars, wild boar, which also can be fairly lucrative, I believe. Reasonably lucrative. Something over there. Probably an alligator, but let's take a look. It's an alligator. The thing about the alligators is, one, they're pretty dangerous, and two, they yield the largest pelts. And they're too big, you can only carry one at any given time. Which would mean I would have to abandon this perfectly good coyote just for the sake of having a single alligator skin. It's not worth it in my book. There's another one. I'm more interested in boar. That's really what I'm kind of looking out for here. The swamps seem a little bit quiet today. Might be time to invest in a fishing rod, thinking about it. I can hear something, but I can't see anything. Unusual. Maybe it's the weather. Maybe everything's retreating on account of the lightning. Hang on. What is that? It's a turtle. Let's check for alligators first. Seems safe. Sorry, buddy. Big boy. Now the question is, can I stow this on the side? I cannot. Well, in that case, let's get this shell off you. Grim. But unfortunately, it's the nature of the thing. This is a good spot for fishing, actually. If you're looking for, is it bullhead catfish, I think? A lot of bullhead catfish around here. That's a pretty decent way of making some coin as well. Just pull them out of the water, one after the other. Sell for about $1 each. Make about $20 in about 10 minutes. Which, you know, it's good by contemporary standards, let alone 1899 standards. I would love to be making $20 every 10 minutes in real life. As it stands, I think I make about $10 every 20 hours. Okay, Sarah, Sarah. Well, we've made it over the roads, which was never really my intention. I guess we can offload to the butcher again. I wonder if there's anything I need from roads. It might be worth looking in the store. Yeah, a little pooch. I'm not completely heartless, I will give him a fuss. He seems to want it. He's a Chesapeake Bay Retriever. Can't say I've ever heard of one of those before, but he looks pretty cute to me. Nah, he's lost interest. So it goes. Now you watch this butcher, this guy. Same as the last one, they're all the fucking same. Oh, you would not believe the amount of herptile meat.
This is your first time here, right?
I believe it is my first time here, yeah. That is correct. Covered in so much gore that not even the rain will wash it clean. Have this buck pelt, have this fox pelt, have this pronghorn hide. Getting up to about $50, which isn't too bad. We'll keep the fox carcass, sorry, coyote carcass. Surprised he's not telling me how many,
Seems everyone with a rifle been hunting these of late.
There we go. You would not believe the amount of people who are just out there killing alligators and turtles. Everybody's killing these turtles. Anyway,
A lot of folk coming by with these lately.
it'll be 20 cents or nothing, I'm afraid. Just, you know, supply is overwhelming the demand. Well, there we are. Made about $20.
Let me
Maybe
know
even
how
a
it was.
maybe even a little bit more. It's gonna run over to the grocery store, the general store, and
Hey, out of the way! I'm on a tight schedule. Hold it, giddy up.
if he wasn't talking about old memes.
You new in town, Candy's in the middle there, next to the cute little dollies and what's left of my self-respect. I have a catalog too, up here.
That's funny. I guess he took a look at me and he was like, "Oh, big fat guy. Obviously he's gonna want the bread rolls and the candies."
I'm sure you need that. Sure of it.
What the fuck are you saying, you little fucking... You're absolutely
That's
right,
popular.
of course. You're absolutely correct. I do want the bread rolls and the chocolate bars. But I want you to pretend that it's not so obvious to you. And of course, always the coffee. Speaking of which... One for the road as well. And I know they're both for the road, but any excuse to have another one.
Some of the ladies up at the parlor house, I've been told they're, well, let's just say I didn't think Rhodes was that kind of town.
Peach for the horse. And anything else? Well, probably good for provisions. The aforementioned dollies, obviously.
I would boast about how this is the best general store in town, but let's face it, this is the only general store in town. What choice do you have? Oh, okay, sorry. I just assumed you couldn't read.
Ah, right, okay. I did mention in a previous video the sort of low-key racism. Gun oil, I'll have one of those.
Done.
I think you would consider that to be an example of the low-key racism. You would never have said that to a white character, I don't think. Anyway,
Always running out of that.
fishing rod. That's what we're after. And some baits.
All right.
15 should do it. And in a roundabout way,
Goodbye.
we'll leave town. Right then, back to work. We now have the fishing rod, which gives us options when it comes to hunting. I mean, I suppose fishing is sort of a form of hunting. A whole new strand of animal to exploit. Is that the word? I don't much care for Lemoyne, actually. Rhodes and Lemoyne. It's one of my least favourite bits of the game. I think it's because the campaign lingers for such a good long time in Rhodes and Lemoyne in general. The whole Braithwaites and the Greys. It was not my favourite chapter of the campaign, not at all. I noticed there's a player on the map. I'm just going to go ahead and have a little look. They must be just out of range because their little dot is gone now. That's fine. I'm not going to make a point of pursuing them. But yeah, it was not my favourite chapter of the game. I also feel like the scenery, the environment is just less interesting. Everything seems to be a bit more uniform in Lemoyne. You've got your swamps, you've got your scraggly trees, you've got your ankle-high grasses, and you've got your occasional body of water, and that's really about it. Oh, and of course the dust and the dirt. Compare that to somewhere like Big Valley, where you've got fields of lavender. You know, I just feel like it doesn't look quite as nice. Even if it is sort of accurate. I believe Lemoyne is meant to be Louisiana, a gamified equivalent of Louisiana. So, I've never been to Louisiana, never even passed through Louisiana. Maybe this is what it looks like, I don't know. Old memes needs a little bit of a clean. Clean the memes. Still looking a bit... I don't know whether that's just his age. He's still looking a little bit... Let's get some of this dust off you. Still looking kind of like a dirty boy. I mean, he looks better than he did, but what he really needs is a rinse. A rinse in a safe body of water. One that's not filled with alligators and poisonous snakes. In fact, we'll take that requirement as direction and we'll move somewhere where he can have a nice little dip. Flatiron Lake, maybe? Where are we? Lemoyne, going towards Blue Water Marsh. So we're here. And we want to be... We could go Harland Overflow, maybe. You know what? Let's go to the Flatiron. Let's go to Flatiron Lake. Maybe I'll do a little bit of fishing while I'm at it. Give this new rod a whirl. Gorgeous. You know, it makes me sad, really, thinking about the amount of work horses leave them be. The amount of work that went into making this game look this good. You might have heard about the crunch culture, the endless crunch. And all the familial difficulties and everything that people had as a result of the demands of working on a game like this. Hang on. Focus, 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 focus. Got him. It wasn't quite a 360 no-scope, but it was a shot around the back of the head, so I think I should get some style points for that.